Okay, since some people were asking, these are the models I've been using. So we have the Enterprise D, which was the first one I built about 5 years ago now. It was the clear plastic. This engine, this cell, has a wiring issue where sometimes this won't work on me. It's working now, luckily. I did if you can see, I had to kind of Dremel out a little trench, and I use like really thin like zip tie for like bread ties, and I have the negative and positive kind of running through there, and then somewhere right here it doesn't always make connection. It's not perfect. I mean, the AMT models, you know, had an issue. Let's see. There, the neck didn't actually line up properly with the saucer. So I actually had to like cut some of the plastic out to get it to fit, and still you can tell. I had the connection, the stand used to go inside, but it broke, like the plastic on the ship broke, and the glue wasn't enough to hold it. So I had to makeshift, let's see if we can just close on that, makeshift like a screw and washer, and it was a whole other. I'm just glad it worked. Unfortunately, the wires no longer can go inside the tube like they were before, but it works, it holds. So yeah, that's that one. And then the next one I built after that 2 years ago was the Enterprise E. Let's see, there. And this one has the flashing lights, which actually were for the Refit Enterprise. But I decided, actually I didn't think this would come together, because I heard the horror stories of the 537 Enterprise, just the nacelles not going on properly, so I decided to not put a lot of effort in that. I just put it into this instead. I know the nav lights aren't accurate. These are supposed to stay on. They're supposed to be flashing strobe lights here. So, but whatever. It worked. It's a little fast, unfortunately. The strobe lights blink too fast for this ship, but again, it is what it is. I like it. Just gives a little bit of character. That's kind of it from the back. These nacelles didn't, let's see. I don't know if you can really tell, but these nacelles didn't quite line up. They would have been crooked on a straight on view, so I decided to leave them separated a little bit so you can see it's supposed to be flush, but that's, it's an AMT model. What do you expect? Other than that, though, this one was a joy to build. It worked out pretty well. I don't think any other major issues. I added some lights here, some fiber optics for fun. And this one could also probably use some putting again. As you can see, I've had to take off the saucer a few times because, as actually you can tell right here, I have to kind of yeah, there's like a wiring issue in there. I have to kind of readjust it every so often. But yeah. And then we have the Refit Enterprise, which I actually just finally finished up a few months ago. I am impressed. I was actually able to get the pylons, you know, the dreaded pylons, to properly, for the most part. They're still not perfect. And as you can see, this piece, I don't know if you can really, didn't really line up too well. And yeah, I opted not to use the flashing lights in this one, and I couldn't return it, so I just put it in the Enterprise E. Because I bought these at the same time. I do regret not filling in these ugly panels that they were molded in, but again, I actually didn't think this thing was going to come together as well as it did. I expected these nacelles to sag. I stuck some extra metal from actually like the photo etched parts. There was just, you know, some metal extra shards, and I kind of forced them. You can't see it here, but I forced them in there, and it actually helped prop them up pretty well. Unfortunately, the day I finished this, I was shooting one of the videos for it, and a light fell directly on top. The light I had over it fell directly on top, and it broke. This whole thing just came apart. So I had to re-glue it and re-putty it up, which unfortunately it looked better. I think some of my videos you could see before I had to re-glue it and reseal it, but so this thing literally within a day of being finished had to be re-glued and puttied all in this area. It was a shame. But again, it still came out. The nacelles are mostly lined up, as you can tell. They're not really sagging. Actually, I unfortunately overcorrected on that one. That's up too high, but that's the one I did a better job of holding, so I'm definitely not going to mess with it. And then here, again, not too proud of the you can see the different layers of paint, but there was no way I was going to be able to, when I did the Aztecing, there was no way I was going to be able to paint the other film. You know, it was just, so I just left it. It kind of looks like the Aztec is reflecting off the light, but you know, it is what it is. I painted the black inside, and I kind of left this part unpainted so the light could shine through. But yeah, these are the models that I'm using for those videos. And actually this is the camera and lens setup for the most part.